this thing kept on getting pushed further and further was because I don't want to use the improper term, but basically the people who were supposed to be involved in the case or who were supposed to persecute him or whatever, whether it be a judge or something else, they had a personal interest with him because they've either worked with him or something else, so they kept on recusing themselves from the case over and over and over, and they wouldn't make the arrest.
So that's why they were.
So he thought he was fucking Judge Dredd, this fucking hillbilly. You know, he thought he was Judge Dredd. I am the law. So he literally thought he was fucking Sylvester Stallone, Judge Dredd, the pot-bellied hillbilly, and he took matters into his own hand. I actually read a comment from somebody too, which it didn't infuriate me. Now, I think when I was younger, if I read a comment like that, I would get really upset. Yeah. But it kind of just goes to show how when we see these specific cases, instead of looking at the tragedy and looking at how terrible the situation that somebody lost their lives, we try to justify that person's death by finding bad things about them.
Right. You disparage their character.
Exactly. You know? And so what somebody wrote on my comment, and I blocked this person too just because of how insensitive and stupid this person is, and they write, it was like, well, he should have been smarter. He shouldn't have went to grab the gun. He would have still been alive. And I'm like, you don't know what it's like to be in that situation. Right. The guy's being hunted. Right. Like, I would freak out. I don't know what I would have done. Yeah. I might have ran. I might have grabbed for the gun. Yeah. But it's how do you know what it feels like to be hunted down just for jogging?
It's a fight or flight situation at that point, right? I mean, you're gonna react in a way that you usually don't react when you feel like your life is being threatened. You know?
Because we talk a lot. Listen, I talk a lot of shit too, man. Like if you put me in a scenario, like if Edric right now asked me, he goes, yo, if somebody comes up to you and slaps you in the face, what are you going to do? Most likely I'd say I'd fuck them up. But I'm not accounting if this man is like a 6'8" fucking Armenian bodybuilder. You know, in that case, bro, go be my guest, bro.
Or if he pulls out a gun right after he does it.
Exactly.
Right?
I don't know. Then I just got slapped. End of story. That's what it is. That's the whole story.
Yeah,
exactly. It's like, what happened? What would you do? I would be like, what the fuck? He would slap me and I'd be like, all right. And I would move on. We don't know what we're like until these situations. Yeah. Like case in point. Yeah. One time I saw, I was at this Jamba Juice in South Pasadena, and I literally saw somebody get mugged right in front of the Jamba Juice. And in my mind, I walked up and I was like, hey, stop. And I stopped this person, right? In real life, I had my mouth open and I watched the guy get robbed and I watched the guy run away. I thought I stopped. In my mind, I assumed that I stopped him. But what happened? He just got robbed. And he looked at me, he goes, what happened? I'm like, I don't know what happened.
Yeah, exactly. No, because sometimes it's such a, I guess it's so far from reality of like everyday things that you see that it might kind of stun you too, you know, and almost paralyze you because you're trying to really internalize what it is that you just saw. You're just trying to digest what you saw.
I think it's called like normalcy bias or something. It's like something like that where it's when these situations happen that are out of the norm, your brain tries to process it in the normal stuff that you typically see. Like you don't see that happen often in front of you. Right. So you can't really process it. So what happens is you sit there with your fucking mouth open waiting for flies to come in. Yeah. And that's what happened to me. I saw that dude get mugged and I didn't know what was going on or what was happening. Yeah. So, you know, we even hear about that in certain like psychological findings where was it the bystander effect where somebody was getting murdered in an alleyway and everybody expected somebody else to call the police so nobody did anything. Right. So there's a lot of these random assumptions and you don't really know to say that Ahmad shouldn't have jumped for the gun. It's like you don't know what it's like to be in that situation. I think the point of the story is, and when you look at this, and you could go ahead and be an inquisitive person and try to find the facts of what actually happened. Yeah. But you know, to sit there and try to find facts and disparage this character of this human being who just lost his life, when you look at the footage, he was literally just jogging. And let's just say he was on, and they later on CNN, I was reading an article, the neighbor released the footage of people who came to that house. I guess Ahmad once looked into they walked in towards the house, whatever. He didn't walk in the house, but was looking at the construction site. Yeah. But so were children. Yeah. So were other people. There was like 11 or 12 people. Yeah. And that was it. Yeah. So there was no reason for anybody to think that he was the one that was out there like breaking into a house. He wasn't, right? Then what about the other 11 people or the children? Maybe he should have shot that fucking little kid, that little 5-year-old that came into the house, right? Murder that child too then. I don't know. Yeah. But you know, they try to find stuff to kind of justify their hate, and that's the problem that I have. It's a huge issue that I have with it.
Oh, for sure, man. I mean, it's like, if it's not already bad enough that, you know, a human being has lost their life, like you said, they trying to find reasons and throwing against the wall to see what sticks. Yeah. Of like, yeah, it was justified though. You know, this guy deserved to die, right? Yeah. For these reasons. And usually those reasons are just, it's like, what the fuck are you talking about, man?
How come y'all can't just mind your fucking business too? Why is it so hard to mind your business? Let me tell you something. Minding your business is one of the best things you could ever do in your life.
Yeah.
It makes life so much easier. Like I said, I saw somebody get robbed at Jamba Juice, and I said, mind your business, David. I was like, get your smoothie and just walk away. Mind your business, David. And look at that. I didn't get my shit jacked.
No, I mean, I just don't understand like where this deep-rooted hate for a group of people stems from. Like that, I just don't get that, man.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of weird. I really wish I wanted to talk to people about this too, especially people in other countries, right? Because there's like people who immigrated from Africa to other countries too. I wonder if they have that same level of disdain towards, you know, for us African Americans as they do in their countries, right? Whatever, Afro-Europeans or whatever.
Right.
I wonder because the African American situation is way different, right? Because from us, we started from slavery.
Yeah.
Right. They were literally considered less than human beings.
Yeah.
And then through the Civil War, they gained their rights.
Yeah.
And then after that, there's this whole